Everyone. Welcome to today's webinar sponsored by Merck Animal Health. Our webinar tonight is entitled Guidelines and Best Practices for Online Safety. My name is Mandy Alexander, and I am the moderator for tonight's webinar, as well as the Marketing and Instruction Coordinator at the Pony Club National Office here in Lexington, Kentucky. We encourage everyone to send in questions via the chat box during the webinar, and we'll have a question and answer session at the end of the presentation. We would also like you to know we are recording today's webinar. The video link will be posted on the webinar page on our website within 24 hours. Keep in mind that you may need to download some additional software to view the recorded presentation. Today's webinar will be presented by Shelley Mann, USPC Marketing and Communications Director. Shelley has been a part of the National Office staff since 2002. She is a self-proclaimed Pony Club cheerleader and is rarely without brochures or promotional materials to hand to a volunteer. Once again, we will be answering questions at the end of the presentation. We do appreciate everyone participating in our webinar today, and we encourage you to take our short survey at the end of the presentation. Take it away, Shelley.
Hi everyone, I'm Shelley Mann. I'm the Director of Marketing and Communications here at the United States Pony Club's office. On your screen is my contact information. If you have any questions, if you want to request any materials, if you have any logo or trademark use questions, any questions whatsoever about marketing or communications, feel free to drop me an email or give me a call during office hours here at the office. Let's talk about getting started. First thing you want to do when you're talking about online communications is to make a plan. You will be communicating to your members, your community, your parents, your volunteers, your potential new members. Remember that young members are very technology driven and use a lot of multimedia. So try a multi-pronged approach. Website, email, social media sites are all kind of lumped into this whole approach to communicating to various audiences. Select social media sites that will work for you based on what your intention is. For example, you don't probably want to choose Twitter as a communication tool if you want to share educational videos or ideas. We'll talk more about options coming up. And remember, no one answer will meet all needs. Twitter may be a great example of a communication tool for your club or center, or maybe you want to focus on YouTube or Facebook or Instagram, depending on the age of your audience. Let's talk about websites. I think most people are aware that in the spring of 2006, which is now, there will be a new website template. These sites will be simple, clean, and mobile friendly. They will take the place of the current ones hosted by Pony Club that your club or center or region is possibly paying an annual fee to use. The annual fees will go away, these will be free, and they will hopefully put potential members in contact with your local volunteers. When you're using photos and updating your website, you want to make sure that you obtain proper permission and credit before posting any pictures online. You don't want to scan and reproduce a professional photographer's photo without getting usage rights. A lot of times you can just ask, can I post this on our website? It is for promotional purposes. A lot of photographers, as long as you give photo credit, are perfectly happy to do that. But you're also going to want to make sure that parents or volunteers who take photos and submit them to you, that they at least understand that that is going to be, that they could possibly be used online, and just make sure that everybody is okay with that. Any photo that appears in a Pony Club publication online, on the website, anything like that is okay to use. You can, of course, say that photo credit goes to USPC if you feel better, but know that anything that Pony Club puts out typically has gone through the proper channels to make sure that permission has been granted to use it. When posting information about members and member photos, be sure to do two things. Number one, discuss with families how young members will be identified online. We walk a fine line between celebrating our members' achievements and potentially putting them in danger. So perhaps your club wants to, with underage members, call somebody Anna S., or maybe you want to call them A. Smith. Obviously, with upper-level members and members who are considering getting into the workforce and that sort of thing, Anna Smith may be the way to go, so that she can, so that it's easy for a possible employer or working student position to find some of her accolades. You don't have to necessarily get permission from a family or a member to use their picture on your website. However, if you know that a family member has concerns about their child being their child's images being used, just make sure to avoid that. Basically, whenever on all membership forms, there is that is one of the things listed on the membership form, that USPC reserves the right to use images to promote the organization. So that's okay. And remember, you shouldn't do it, but members may go in and tag themselves in different areas, and that's okay, as long as you're not doing it and the member is taking care of that. Obviously, you're making sure that you're posting safe, quality photos. All club centers and regions should use the USPC logo, and be sure to review the USPC policy and guidelines for logo use. This is important when setting up communications and that sort of thing. If you have any questions, the USPC policy and logo use information is all located on the Pony Club website, or you can always email me and ask me any questions and I will try to answer them. You want to make sure that you keep your information up to date on your website. This should be easier with the new website templates. It will pull information directly from the USPC database, making it easier and faster to stay current. This should be a great service. You can post a link of, for example, the D-level standards. Our members will have to sign in to be able to see that, but if you post that and we update the standards, if you post the link and you don't actually post the standards, they will automatically update so that your members will always have the most current information. Keep in mind that if on your website somebody opens a page and sees information for events that happened 3 years ago, that isn't necessarily the message that you want to send. You want to make sure that potential members are seeing the activities that you are hosting now. Okay, email is a very cost-effective way to communicate with your members, your parents, key individuals. I am positive that most people are probably using mass emailing. If you have material that is updated or sent on a regular basis, you can create templates for emails and reuse them. Obviously, you have to be very careful to update all of the information. It is very easy to accidentally send out slightly changed information without maybe changing a day or a time or something like that to be current. So just make sure that you proof all of that information. You can set a calendar for information to be sent out, sending reminders for rallies or deadlines. You can use links to other social media sites when you send an email, making it easier for people to click onto a link. And this allows you to update content once and send people to it. So you update it one time, you send an email to everybody, and they can go look at that information. Avoid sending too many emails that are not relevant or bits and pieces of information on one topic. You don't want to send an email with the date of championships and then a second separate email with deadlines for applications, that sort of thing. You want to make sure that you get everything all in one to save people time, since sometimes they don't always read everything we send them. Online presence, social media. There are numerous social media platforms, so be sure to choose one that will work for you. Whichever you choose, you want to be active. You don't want to have an account and just to have it. If you have it, use it so that it's helpful. Appoint either a DC, a CA, or an RS as your administrator. Use responsible adults. Now, that doesn't mean that that is one more job that your DC, CA, or RS has to be in charge of. But those people should be administrators with administrative rights and information to be able to log on and be involved in social media if something were to happen, and that you maybe needed their help. Administrator rights should stay with the leadership. That you can still be an administrator. You can have multiple administrators. You can make an upper level member an administrator. They're probably better at working most of the social media sites than a lot of the adults anyways. But still make sure that you retain that administrative right. An easy way to keep your page active without a lot of work is sharing and liking USPC pages. For example, if your club center or region is mentioned in a USPC post, share it. Typically, 99.9% of the time, USPC content is safe. We work very hard to make sure that everything that goes out on all of our social media sites that are official USPC sites, they are current, they are up to date, and that they are safe content for you and your members. When you have multiple accounts like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, you can link them so that you're sending the same message in more than one place. This will help expand your viewership. Different demographics, different age groups, different groups of people in general use different social media accounts. If you can link them all together, you can use one message to reach all of them. Be aware that each social media site or app has pros and cons. Later on, we will talk about some of the best practices and guidelines of some of them, and that there is actually a form on the website that kind of goes over all of the pros and cons of each social media site. And you just need to decide which one best suits your needs and the needs of your membership. If you decide to use blogs, Pony Club also has a blog, be aware that if you don't disable the comments, you may receive a lot of unsolicited comments or spam. If you have a member blog about their recent experience at a rally, you don't want people going on making disparaging comments that could hurt the member's confidence, feelings, or may be harmful. So if you have a blog and you're using member information to fill that blog, just make sure that you just turn off the comments so that you don't have to police that sort of thing. Different types of social media. There are a variety. Certainly there's Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Pinterest, Instagram. The list is endless. Those are the main ones, and a blog that that Pony Club participates in on pretty much almost a daily basis, weekly at the least. And those are kind of some of the general recap of what each one can offer your club or center or region. But regardless of what you choose to use, make sure that you get involved in any of your members or your child's online experience. And keep in mind that USPC does provide safe content. So if you have a member that you're worried about, that maybe you feel that they're young for this sort of social media, if you can at least feel confident getting them started in some of Pony Club's options. Social media use. Social media can be used to accomplish multiple things. It can be promotion, it can attract new members, it can be used for education and information sharing. It's also a good way to thank and give your sponsors, your volunteers, and your members recognition. Remember to use positive messages. Stay away from anything political, negative, controversial. For example, horse slaughter articles. Yes, that has been a big topic among the equine community, but it may not be the greatest thing for a club or center to take a position on. It can obviously alienate and upset followers who may potentially be great volunteers for your club or center. Fox hunting in England was a big one. We don't necessarily want to take sides. Obviously, Pony Club has a very strong history in fox hunting, and so we still promote it and use it, but just keep in mind that staying away from any kind of political messaging is usually safest. Allow young members to help with social media, but don't let them be the ones solely in charge of the site. This could be harmful to them, and they may not be making appropriate choices in posting. They could post a lot of Instagram selfies and not include other members. I'm sure people are aware of a few parents that have been known to do this also, but just remember that tone and intent can be misinterpreted. So make sure that you are kind and that you are including everybody in your club or center in your social media outlets. Social media content. It is very easy to see something and really like it. Maybe it tugs at the heartstrings. Maybe it's very inspirational. But keep in mind that you want to be careful. You want to avoid pictures and videos that do not follow USPC policies and the mission. Make sure that if somebody is riding that they have helmets on. You want to think about basic balance position, positive coaching, safety footwear, sort of thing. So remember, your members and potential members have a range in age, so you want to try to include content for all. Social media is very good. It can tell a story through video and photos. Again, keep in mind that you need photo credits often, but also I, on the Pony Club website, Facebook page, posted a video that I had found. Somebody else had created it, and it was inspirational. It included all of our disciplines. It made you want to go out there and be the best, and it was a great video. It really was. And then when I turned the volume up, I realized that M&M might not be the best spokesperson for Pony Club values. I didn't turn the volume up enough to notice that there were several swear words in the song that was being used. It was inspirational and thought-provoking, however, probably not Pony Club approved. So keep that in mind. Make sure that you listen to the volume or with the volume up. Great ones like here on the slide, the Clydesdale commercials around Super Bowl and that sort of thing. Everybody loves those. There's puppies, there's foals, there's horses, there's cheering. You know, everybody loves those. However, they are ultimately Budweiser commercials. So just keep in mind, even though it may be a great commercial, it might not necessarily fall in line with Pony Club values. Social media safety. Although social media can be very useful and helpful, there are people who will misuse and do harm, so be aware and be careful. Monitor your pages and sites. Ensure a responsible adult has administration. And remember that harmful things aren't always just against younger members. It can, obviously, you can have some parents who get involved, that sort of thing, some adults that maybe don't make the best online choices. So keep that in mind. Avoid using location tracking on some of the social media sites to protect your younger members. Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, a lot of times if you are at a rally and or at a mounted meeting and you take a picture with your phone and you want to post it directly, live time on your club or center Facebook page, you should make sure that you disable the location tracking option. That's just under your settings, and you can usually just do it once and it will disable it, but keep in mind that you probably don't want to disclose the exact location of where a lot of youth members are participating. Remember parental consent, and just have a discussion basically with some of your families on how they feel most comfortable identifying younger members on posts. Maybe you just say, look at this great group of new D1 members, and you don't want to list anyone just in case some of the younger members don't have social media access yet. You want to avoid tagging members, but of course, if you're posting great photos, they can go in and tag themselves or their friends. Keep in mind that these are your club, region, and center's accounts. If you see activity that is harmful, unsolicited, or unwelcomed, delete it. It never pays to continue an ongoing thread of bashing. You can't ever really delete something once it's posted online, so be careful what you promote and remind youth of the same. But do keep in mind that you are in charge of your club's image. So if you see something that you're not comfortable with, remove it. Dealing with negative press. Luckily, in Pony Club, we don't really have a ton, at the national level at least, of negative press. I'm not saying there is none, but it is often diffused fairly well. Keep in mind, if you receive a response that you're not comfortable with, that people are always braver behind their screen and their keyboard. So they may say things that they might not normally say. Try not to react to negative comments in posts. The worst thing is to get into that ongoing thread of back and forth. Keep in mind that tone is not always captured, so don't assume harm, but be cautious to protect your club or center, region, and members. Sometimes removing a questionable comment is better than addressing it. I typically just press delete and assume that someone either had a bad day or got home and reconsidered some things or was just venting. Try to diffuse it rather than necessarily correct it. That doesn't mean that once you remove a comment that you can't then readdress it in a non-public forum. Whether it's somebody posted something on one of your social media sites and it was either negative or disparaging or seems like bullying, you can always delete that and then go directly to that person and either explain that that is not the forum for this sort of thing, or try to get to the bottom of the situation. But make sure that you take those issues off of a public forum to do that. Cyberbullying. There is zero tolerance for cyberbullying. It is not covered verbatim in a Pony Club policy. However, we do have policies for good sportsmanship and that sort of thing. So this kind of all fits in there. Cyberbullying can be any mean or harmful behavior using electronic devices. Any mean or harmful behavior. Primarily, it is among youth. However, there can be harassment and cyberstalking. Adults can also be affected. Keep in mind that passion is often disguised as anger. Using anonymous posts can be used in these actions. Bullies can be a little passive-aggressive. Monitoring and staying aware of your account activity is the best way to spot misconduct. All members should adhere to the USPC Code of Conduct. That's all members, volunteers, parents, leaders, instructors, anybody associated with Pony Club should adhere to the USPC Code of Conduct, and cyberbullying fits into that. If misbehavior occurs, be sure and notify the appropriate parties and do your best to stop the behavior. You, as the leader of your club or center, have the power as an administrator to delete these posts. Rumors, embarrassing photos, videos can all be used as cyberbullying techniques. Delete those if they are on your site and consider if further action needs to be taken. Of course, you can always contact the national office with any questions. Guidelines and best practices. This is the sheet that is available. It is available on the Pony Club website. And it basically just goes through some basic do's and don'ts. There currently is no policy for online activity through Pony Club. Obviously, we have the Code of Conduct and that sort of thing, which talks about it being bad, but as far as best practices and guidelines, that's really what this is. So it kind of talks about some of the things that you should do to promote your club and center, and some of the things that may be counterproductive when trying to promote your club or center. It goes through kind of all of the different frequently used social media outlets and talks about some of the good things that they can do and some of the things that you need to consider if you plan to utilize these social media sites. There is no one answer that is going to answer all of everybody's needs, but a combination of a couple of these that you as a leader feel comfortable supporting and updating and monitoring slightly can certainly do a great job at promoting your club or center. Keep in mind that social media can be very effective, both your website, any social media outlets that you choose to use, anything like that. But you want to combine it with some in-person and hard copy material. You can review and purchase any material through Shop Pony Club. You can go to the new Pony Club website. You have to sign in, and then under the parent and volunteer bar, pull down to resources, and there is an entire page dedicated to promoting Pony Club. You can request materials there. You can see what materials are available. You can download articles and that sort of thing to help your club, whether it's a membership drive or a trade fair or any place that you happen to be trying to promote your club or center. We typically have materials available to you. This is online. This is the old Pony Club website, which I know will be going away soon, but is still active. Again, the new site, if you go to the parent or volunteer pull down, once you're signed in, resources and promote Pony Club, there are lots of materials available there. You can email any requests to me at marketing@ponyclub.org, or you can always go on Shop Pony Club and look at any promotional items that I am not able to make available to you because they are either too expensive for me to produce in mass volume, or something that, oh, maybe your club or center is hosting a specific event and you need a specific item. Shop Pony Club has a lot of that sort of stuff. So that is all I have. If anybody has any questions or comments, I would be happy to answer them. And if you have any questions about the new website templates, I had a meeting earlier today, and I may be able to answer some of those questions. So if anybody has anything, let me know.
Okay, we'll give our attendees a couple of minutes, see if we have any questions pop up. I know we had one. Do we have a timeline when the new club and center websites will be able to be accessed, be live?
Well, I know that for sure it is spring, and I know spring has sprung in most places. That has all been sent over to be built. I don't know an exact deadline. I know that we will be sending out communications as that becomes available, but we sent out several emails so that people could kind of get a feel of the look of the new websites and have any questions. So if you want to email me, if you did not receive those, because we did those I think before the annual meeting even earlier this year, I would be happy to send you kind of the link so that you can go explore what it has to offer and kind of what they will look like in general.
Okay. I have a question about Facebook. Is there any benefit having a private Facebook page rather than a public one?
That kind of depends on your audience. If you want to have a private one that you're only communicating with your club or center members, that you want to only put specific information, whether it's about mounted meetings, unmounted meetings, parties, gatherings, that sort of thing, you can certainly do that and make it private. But keep in mind that if you have a private Facebook page, then that isn't going to be a draw for new membership. So it just depends on how you want to use it. If you want to use it as a communication tool for your members only, yes, private is probably the easiest way to go, because you have to approve anybody that wants to be a member and see your page. However, if you want to use it as a promotional tool to your local community, a private page is not going to do that for you. So it just depends on how you want to use it and who your audience is.
Okay. Thank you. Next question, if I post on Facebook, will it always send my post to other social media sites?
You have to set it up to do that, and you can do that. Several of pony clubs are set up, and it just kind of depends on which combination of social media sites you use. But yes, often you can link, say, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook together. Or you could have a YouTube page, and you can pull YouTube from your YouTube page and post on your Facebook page, but it won't typically do that automatically. But it might be a great way if you have a YouTube page where you have rally videos, that sort of thing, to post on your page so that it kind of keeps people involved in all of your social media outlets.
Okay. See if we have any more in the next minute or so. While we're waiting to see if we have any more questions jump out there, we just want to say thank you again to Merck Animal Health for sponsoring our Tutoring Tuesday webinar series. Be sure to continue checking back on the Pony Club website as we constantly update it with new webinars. We do have another question. Is there an optimum frequency for posting on social media?
That would depend on the social media site you're using. If you are using Twitter, no. Tweet up a storm. You can tweet 20 times a day. You can tweet 20 times an hour. The more tweets, the better. However, if you are on Facebook, optimum, to not annoy the people that are following you, they say no more than 4 posts per day. So that is why a lot of times at the national office we kind of have to work among the staff, because several people have different things that they want to put out, to make sure that we schedule specific posts at specific times or on specific days so that we don't bombard people with with Facebook posts. If you're on YouTube, you can post stuff on YouTube all the time because people won't necessarily know that you're posting stuff unless they specifically go to your YouTube page. So yeah, it just kind of depends on the social media outlet that you want to use. But with Facebook, no more than 4 per day. With Twitter, you can tweet 4 times an hour if you want. Whatever you're comfortable with, if you have a lot of information, that sort of thing. On Instagram, you can Instagram a lot, but that's mostly pictures. It's not a lot of content and information. So yes, it just depends on the social media outlet as to how many times per day that you really want to send out information. Typically, for the national office at least, sometimes we struggle to find information on some days, and then some days we have 12 things that need to go out. So it's just kind of scheduling those a little bit.
Okay. Well, that looks like you were so thorough. We didn't have as many questions as I thought we might have. Keep in mind that if you continue to have questions, you can email Shelley at marketing@ponyclub.org. And please remember there will be a short survey after we close out this webinar that we ask for you to check out for us. So thanks again for attending tonight. Thank you, Shelley, for presenting. Looks like that's it on the questions. So we'll call it a night. Everyone have a great evening, and we'll talk to you later.